About how to export your 3D model. Now, the universal file for a 3D model is usually an OBJ file. And OBJ stands for object. So it's an object file. So in Sculptris, for example, there's two ways to save your project. There's one here at this bottom bar. Let's sculpt something first, just for the heck of it. Alright, so I don't know what that is. We have two ways of saving this. This is one to save it. Now, this is a SC1 file. It stands for Sculptris. So it's a file that you can save and use only in Sculptris. I usually I save my projects as an OBJ because if it doesn't want to come back into Sculptris, I can still open it up in another app. So that's the universal app. So you go to export here and you title it whatever it is, test object, and save it wherever you need to save it, whatever folder, and there it is. And so, for example, we can open that up in a new app. So this is SculptGL. I could delete that sphere and import. It says add OBJ. It'll import these files: OBJ, SGL, ply, STL. I don't usually use SGL or PLY. STL is a 3D print file. That means stereolithograph. I usually don't use that either. It's always an OBJ. So we're going to go to add OBJ. And go to pictures. And then test object. And there it is. So what we have here, let's do this, is the same object as in Sculptris. So that's a pretty helpful thing to do. Now, to export this, say we want to do a little bit of change here. There we go. It's beautiful. So we can export that. We go to export, we go to files, import, export. So we're going to go to save OBJ. And then save as, so you can retitle it. What I found is it wants you to keep that, it says your mesh. It wants you to keep that in the title. So I'll add my name to it, your mesh test object. And I'll save it in whatever file I need to. And it says finish downloading. So now what we could do is, just so that you could see what can happen, is we're going to import that new scene. Okay, changes will be lost. And there's the one, there's the same model with the new edits from there. So you could go back and forth if you export and import OBJ, your OBJ model. Now, importing and exporting, or you can't, in the ZBrush Core Mini, you cannot import. That's how they get you to buy the upgrade, is they limit what you're able to do with it. But as a practice app, it's fine. You can export it. save project doesn't give you a chance to say it gives you a chance to save it as a GIF, a PNG, or a ZPR. These are basically two-dimensional. You can't save it as an object, as a 3D model, if you go to this save. But the way you can save it as a 3D model is if you go to export for 3D printing. Now that's not a very easy way to understand it for the beginner. I don't know why they made that so difficult. I think that they're thinking the layman understands 3D printing, so that's an easy way for them to get it. But that box, I mean, do we even know that that's a 3D printer? That's just a weird diagram. But anyway, you click onto that and it says OBJ. So it's saving it as an OBJ. Let's see what else. It only gives you an OBJ as a choice. So I didn't sculpt it, it's just the sphere. Let me do something to it. Standard brush. Okay, so there's that. So we're going to save that. I don't know if 3D print needs to be in the title, but we'll just keep it anyway. Test object 2. So we'll save that in the same place, the same folder, my pictures file. So we'll save that. And we'll see, this may not, Sculptris doesn't always accept everything. We'll find out how compatible it is. So, let's see. Where was that? 3D print test object. Okay. New scene. See, it doesn't want to take it, so it's not going to work there. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to bring it into here, into Sculpt GL. So let's delete what we have here. Let's add this. Go to pictures, 3D print test. Okay, so Sculpt GL was able to import that. So we can compare it. So you can see it's the same thing. So to get it into Sculptris would require, probably if I do it from here. So let's remesh it in Sculpt G. Well, I'm not going to make it too difficult. That's for the next one. But I showed you how to export your files from these apps. So that's the beginning. And it's an OBJ. Always look for how to export the OBJ. Okay?